All right, the Brock Hite, my guy. I got a lot of different nicknames for you. We're going to call you Bloomsburg Brock, but rankings Brock.
Rankings.
Right?
Yes.
Got some large shoes to fill, but I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about Brock putting the best rankings and comprehensive product out there for Flow Wrestling, right?
Yeah, and it's, I'm new to the high school space. I'm not new to the ranking space. I did the international rankings while I was at Flow Wrestling in 15 and 16. And they have a lot of similar challenges, and there's some that are unique to high school wrestling. In international rankings, you have, a ton of results that are tough to find, and you have guys that, show up that are totally out of shape. And you have some of those challenges in high school that just the volume of results to track everything down and find those results. It's a daunting task. And I jumped into it. Luckily, have Nomad working alongside with me. So it's a big task, and being new to the space, it's a little overwhelming. But at the same time, I'm in a really good position with being at a lot of the events now.
So when you look at this, first off, are the parents' emails as great as they've been hyped up to be? Is that a true thing, or is that made up?
I haven't had a ton yet. My first set that I'm taking ownership of, went up in almost a dead period. So I didn't have the big weekend yet. This is the big weekend. We've got Reno this weekend. We've got Ironman this weekend. King of the Mountain in Pennsylvania. A lot of the schools or a lot of the states just started with their duels last Saturday. So this is going to be my first set that I really anticipate some of those, and I haven't got those. And really, I welcome a lot of feedback that there are going to be results that fly under the radar, and getting those kids, even if we might not see eye to eye as far as where the athlete that they're talking about slots, it's always good to get information on somebody that might be flying under your radar, or a result that is tough to track down. Some states mandate that OPC results have to go in there. Pennsylvania being one of those, I know for sure, and I'm trying to build a database of what states have to have mandatory reporting in the OPC and what states don't. So, once I get that database built, then it's easier to find results, and I know what states I need to really, beat the emails and that kind of stuff, trying to find results.
Can I just give you my word for all this? Logistical nightmare. It's a lot. That's a lot, man.
Yeah, it is. And, I'm a spreadsheet guy. So, like, some of the other stuff I do, I'm kind of known, like compiling data and analyzing stuff. So it comes into my skill set, but it's overwhelming. Your big boards, you just have so many guys, and really the freshmen don't have a chance to really shine at the high school level. You could be top 50 in the country in your grade level, but like you're not placing at Ironman. So some of those results, it becomes difficult. It's a logistical nightmare, but the best you can do, compile the results, take the information you have, make your best judgment.
Is this fun? Is that what you're talking? Is it the F word? Is it fun?
It's fun in different ways. Now, like, am I gonna throw a party where I'm doing rankings? Absolutely not. But it's something that, like, when I'm doing work, I do some spreadsheets just for myself and like some of the personal things that I do, and for me, compiling that data and being able to analyze it, as far as the job goes, it's about as good as it gets for me.
Okay, so I'm a huge Ohio homer. You tend to be a PA homer, but and you look at it, they're two of the top two states. PA is the deepest. We all know that. How do you keep that Pennsylvania bias out of it? Even though you and I both know most people just don't, dude. But how do you keep that Pennsylvania? We know it's tougher than the other states, right?
Sure.
And the depth is there's no comparison. Look at the D1 qualifiers element, right?
And really, it's a lot of. I think not so much state bias, but like who you see. Over the past 5 years, I've seen the Pennsylvania guys most. You've seen the Ohio guys most. So you like and you have a high regard for the athletes that you're seeing compete. So that's something that I'm aware of, that like I've seen these guys in Pennsylvania, and there's some guys on the fringe of rankings, and it's like, well, I've seen this Pennsylvania guy wrestle multiple times, and here's how you combat it. You get out to different events, you watch a lot of video, and with this position with Flow Wrestling, I'm going to have a month-long span here. I'm at Ironman, I'm at Powerade, I'm at Doc B, I'm at 5 counties, and then I'm going to be back in Pennsylvania for Escape the Rock. So I'm going to hit 5 major tournaments in that span. Now, I've got 3 on the East Coast. Ironman here was heavy, Ohio and Pennsylvania. And I'm going to be on the West Coast there. So the guys that are performing at Reno this weekend, they're going to have some big results there. A lot of them are going to be at Doc B. A lot of them are going to be at 5 counties. So I'm going to be able to get an in-person look at them.
And I know you got to go to Flow Wrestling events. I understand it's kind of it's absurd for you to go to a track event, right? We get that. But, could we see you at a Colorado event? Could we see you at KC Stampede, which I believe is a Flow event? Could we see you at the Tri-State, which is like the Coeur d'Alene, Idaho one? I think that gives those kids a better chance. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. You want to see as much as you can, and working within it. And the internet's a great place. You have all kinds of wrestling content up, and you start with Flow Wrestling, that even if I'm not there, it's better to be there in person. You just get more out of the event when you're there in person. But when the video is available, and I'll tell you what, you said about are the parent emails as bad as... Some of the emails that I've got have been fantastic, where they lay out a resume. And I always, the very first thing I write back is, I appreciate getting resumes. One guy sends in a video resume, and he makes his case for his athlete, and then he links 10 matches of him wrestling high-level guys. And that's the kind of stuff that, 20 years ago, it's not there. So, absolutely going to different events, seeing different guys all over the country. And, it's those guys, sometimes it's difficult with state restrictions, travel restrictions, and it's going to lead into one of the things that's difficult about high school. It's what I put a preference on. I prefer folk style results over freestyle results. I prefer in-season results to out-of-season results. But with the high school landscape, that's not always, some guys are limited to who they can see. So I've got to make a lot of, subjective decisions. Everything's not really objective. And that's some of the stuff I fought in international rankings, where guys show up out of shape. The Europeans look at the sport a little bit different than we do, and they'll show up and wrestle out of shape. And so you got to look at those results in the summer in high school, and I kind of look at it like that. Who's going there to get matches, who's in shape, and it makes it difficult. But seen a lot of that, getting the resumes from, who, if you're going to advocate for an athlete and you send a video resume, I will be sure to go through those videos, watch them, take time, get those results in, get them plugged into my spreadsheet, and see where I want to move them.
All right. I don't want your job. Say it to cops all the time. I don't want your job. I just don't want your job. Don't worry about me. I'm no competition for you. Because that's a lot, man. That's a lot. Like, it's very comprehensive. It's a bunch of time. I don't want that. Good for you. Good on you. But that's a huge undertaking.
Sure.
And I'm excited to see the rankings, though.
Yeah, and, up to this point, it's just been, little tweaks, that there haven't been major results. And this is going to be... jumping into the deep end here. First weekend with Ironman in Reno, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast, major results, and almost all of your power states are underway. Last week we had Independence, which is going to factor into this, Gardner Egerton. So I got my toe dipped in the water last week with those results, and it was just a big board last week, and now this Wednesday we'll have the new weight class rankings for high school, and it's going to be me diving into the deep end.
All right. Thanks for the time. Stay tuned. We'll talk on Wednesday. I'll send you an email, okay?
Awesome, Zach. Thank you.